Okay? First technique I'm going to show is Sotogiri, which is an outside cut. Now, to get into a little bit of description of that, this technique cannot be done with this lifeless arm. You have to have your teikatana, which is your hand blade. This has to be firm. You have to be able to have ki energy from this. Has to be precise. You have to be able to cut. It's wrist on wrist. That's the application, how it's applied. You're capturing his wrist as he's going to shove you. Okay? If you miss the wrist and you go to the elbow or back of the tricep, chances are you're probably going to get clipped in the face on this. And this is what I'm going to show. Hey, so, as Chris goes to do a mune dori, mune shove, if I'm late on this and he follows through, this can go right up to my face and capture my face. Now I'm going to wind up getting hit. I still might be able to get the deflection off, but it's going to be really sloppy. If I'm too soon, he's going to end up shoving my shoulder or bumping into me. So you have to be careful that you don't turn your back on this and get shoved. So it's proper distance, balance, and timing. Okay? The attacker has to have proper distance, balance, and timing as well. Remember, this is TenShin Aikido. I'm not talking about street application of this. This is an Aikido application of this. So when you attack, this has to be firm, but you have to be able to be mobile with your kemi. Okay? Not a robot, you know, Frankenstein shit. I see this all the time in randoris and whatnot. This has to be a firm attack. So as he goes to attack him slowly, you want to be able to capture this movement. Okay? The same token, you want to be able to deflect and with the opposite hand cover your face. For the sake of fail-safe purposes, if I miss this, boom, and I turn and he's able to punch, he's going to end up hitting my hand. I'm not giving him a solid target to actually make connection on. So as he attacks, you want to be able to cut through and move fast. Okay? Again, so as that happens, cut. Okay? Cut. So, one more time. This happens here. You want to be able to cut this. Then from there, as you do this, it's not pushing the arm, it's not pushing the arm down. You're keeping this on the same plane as you move. Okay? You're deflecting this movement. So this attacker, your uke, should have firm intent behind his attack. The minute that I touch him, it's not about trying to push him away. Okay? So as he has this, it's not doing this. Because he's going to keep coming, and then what we're going to do is we're going to collide shoulders together, and there's no musubi. There's no harmony. There's no blending with the technique. So you want this movement to blend with the technique as you move. You're blending as you move. Blend as you move. Blend. Okay? Blend. Blend. Awesome. That one's good. A little stronger. A little stronger. Cut. Cut. Okay? That's Sotogiri. The next hand deflection that we're going to move to is called Suriage. Now, one thing I forgot to say was, all these hand deflections are based off of Kenjutsu. Kenjutsu is practical application of sword technique. The next application is Suriage movement. So, from a Shomanuchi cut, to the top of the head, right side please. From a Shomanuchi cut, the deflection comes through, a little bit more powerful. You want to get this deflection. You don't want to get the deflection to where it's here and your center is being compromised. You want to be able to sit there and have this deflection. Okay, one more. And then you have this right here on this. Basically, you're cutting through the center where now you can move, you can throw. Okay? The attack too has to be honest. From a randori standpoint, now we're talking real kata or mune dori, mune kata, dori. This shove with suriage, you want these. You have to come up from underneath. Okay? At that point, you want to be able to move. Okay? This actual application of this. Actual application. So you can move in all different types of technique, whatever at that point. Okay? This application is used if you're getting that point where you're kind of getting flooded with ukes coming at you. You want to be able to deflect. So if he was coming at me with two hands, you're going to want to be able to deflect. Then you can move into Sotogiri if you had to. So these techniques are interchangeable with one another. You go from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. Okay, so the Tsuryage movement again. So slowly, you want to be able to deflect with this. Now remember, don't turn too soon because then you end up hitting the shoulder. Okay, so you want this movement where you actually turn, and your hip turns into this, and then you turn your hand out. Okay, remember, this movement, Teikatana, has to move. Okay? You just can't do this and then try to move with this and stand straight up. Like, you know, some Aikido people do. They don't bend their knees and they just stand straight up. Like, oh, you know, okay, doesn't work. You gotta bend your knees, come down to his level where you move this. You're moving. You're Sotogiri, right? Ukanagashi. Tsuryage. Tsuryage. So, Tsuryage one more time is this application of deflecting this. Remember, this is sword cut. So you move. Okay? Set up, boom. You're moving. Boom. You're moving. Okay? See how I'm blending? See how my UK is blending with this? Okay? One more time, right side. You're moving. Okay? You're moving. This can turn into a lot of other stuff from here to where you can get this into Nikyo technique. Yubidori. Okay? Grabbing this into an elbow lock, Ichigarame. Whatever. One more attack, one more series of attacks from Shomanuchi. Left side, or excuse me, right side. This deflection. Deflection. Now when you see how this deflection is done, okay, the symbols of Aikido has 3 symbols. We all know this. This is universal. Triangle, circle, square. The triangle represents coming offline in hand deflections. Okay? If you do your hand deflection on Tsuryage, where it's this, you're going to end up getting hit. You're going to get crushed. So, let's stand over there for a second so the camera view sees this. Move that way so you get the camera view of this. Right side. So, when the camera, if it's straight in, he's going to crush right through and take my center. Okay? Right? So right from here, he's going to crush in on me. Can't be afraid to take this hit. Create the triangle. That's when you see a lot of us sit there and do this. We're creating a triangle right here with our hands. Kind of like item sights on a gun. Okay? He comes and attacks with that. You want to be able to get this hand deflection. Get this hand deflection. And then your hand should be right at his forehead. Okay? One more time. Right? So boom. You have that. Okay? And then this can turn, right side, this can turn into technique at this point. And you can throw. This also can turn into Irinage slow. From here into Irinage. Okay? The hand deflection. Okay? Left side, please. From here, deflection. Irinage. One more. That's how the Tsuryage would work in relation to Irinage. You have to be able to get the hand deflection, right, to be able to do this. One more. So here, then this comes right in. What I was taught originally is that this movement happens here, and then the hand somehow crosses in front of the face. When I watch the Go Sensei do it, I don't exactly see it that way. It's more along the lines of here, then the throw happens. Your hand going across the person's face, I don't know, a little worried about that. So that was Tsuryage. The next deflection we're going to do is what I call Kiriage, which is a diagonal sword cut from down to up. You're going from the ground up. The way how we do this is that we actually have nicknamed this the bitch slap. Because when it's done on a shoulder attack slow, or a mune attack, you're slapping the hand. You want to make sure that you slap the hand and you hit your shoulder. Every time you get this deflection, you should feel this boom, boom, hitting your shoulder every single time. Every single time you should have that. You have to be fast on this. If you're not, you're gonna get clipped. Like, so from here, see? Wasn't fast enough. Again. See, I have that. You want to be able to get this deflection to where you have this. Notice how he lost his balance? That's the point behind it. So slow. This deflection slaps. Keeps going. Then you can actually move this into eating whatever. Or anything for that matter. From here, okay. So again, that comes in. You want this deflection. Remember, this is similar to Solto Iri, but this is a deflection. Okay? You want to make sure that you don't get clipped on this, you deflect. So Kiryage movement, deflection. From here, you can throw. Move into other techniques. Okay? So, once again, we worked on slowly. Solto Iri, same side. Ukenagashi, excuse me, Tsuriyage. Tsuriyage movement. Tsuriyage movement. Now we're going to move into Ukenagashi. Ukenagashi is the sword deflection that all Aikido people know. With the sword deflection, you're going to turn your sword up. The way how you defend with the sword on this is you're going to use the back side of the sword. You're not going to use the blade, the kasana. So you're going to use that. So with this type of attack, slowly, yokomuchi. Okay, as he does this, you're going to blend with this movement. Okay, so you're going to come up from underneath and you're going to blend. You're going to collapse. And you're going to move through to where then you can capture. Okay, so this movement is here, circle, capture. Okay, capture. So the movement is that. If you do this here, you don't collapse, you don't bring your elbow up enough, this collapses and the uke hits you. Okay, this strike. Okay, don't have your hand like this when you're doing yokomanuchi. You want more of this kind of cutting hand. You're using the tegatana, bent wrist as you're cutting. So as that happens, you cut. Side of the head, this cut. It's not pushing through either. I've seen this a lot. Don't push through. Cut. Again, cut. So you want this deflection back. Cut. And there you have technique. Okay? Cut. So your ukenagashi movement is that. So you want this to blend. So slow. As this connects, you're going to start rotating. The elbow has to be higher than your head to where then you can move this offline and capture. From there, you can move into Kotagaishi, Narosuke, whatever. Okay? Vito's Yokumen again, you can move straight into this with Narosuke and throw. Okay? But initially, your Ukenagashi off of the Yokomanuchi attack. Okay? Ukenagashi. Ukenagashi. Okay? Off of grabbing in the randori, this is where they get cut down. The ukenagashi movement is going to be low. So this applies, this works when your uke is too close to you and you can't get off a solto-gi. The kiryage movement, you can probably get that off pretty quick if you're really close. The ukenagashi movement, you're going to want to use this if your ukes are too close to you, okay? Where you can move. Where then you can suriyage, solto-gi, kiryage, ukenagashi, 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 right? Where then you can do whatever at that point. So, that's it for our hand deflections. We're over our 4 hand deflections that we use encompassing the randori. The next video will be on 2 of the nage waza techniques that's used in the randori. So the attack that's usually done with us is shoulder grab or munedori, so as he comes in, it's strong, okay? It's not, you know, flimsy where you start doing this and the hands start going over the place. There has to be intent behind the attack. On top of it, it can't be a zombie-like attack. It can't be a Frankenstein, like, you know, so you're doing this. That's not effective. On top of that, when people do that type of technique, you have fingers easy, and you can use Yubidori within Randori as well to submit your opponents. But in this particular exercise of randori, this type of training in randori, you don't want to attack like that. So your attack is not already telegraphed. You start to attack and then your hands go out to grab or shove. In this case, because this is a training video for people that want to learn how to use this type of technique in their randori or train in this type of randori, the attack is going to have intent, but the intent isn't going to be to grab. It's to give an honest attack to where then you can learn how to throw by using these techniques. So the first one we're going to do is kokyunage. So as he comes and grabs, the idea behind this is that you want to cut the hand into your center. So when you cut down and you cut up, the hand that goes up, I see this done a lot in training where people push the arm over the head, becomes very ineffective at that point. The idea is to cut through their hasashi, their angle to where you throw. Okay? Their center angle is this, a strong stance please. Okay? I haven't done this yet, so I'm going to go into detail about this. This is strong. Strong frame. This is real strong. He can resist against this pretty easy. You're leaning a little bit too much. Wider stance, please. No, front leg in front. So strong stance, strong stance. He's strong there, right? So if I come up behind him, he's strong this way, straighten up. He's strong this way too, okay? Here's the hasashi. You're cutting through the angle of this. It's very easily done on both sides. Okay? As I push in his chest, he goes back on his heels. As I push on his back, he goes on the balls of his feet. So when this technique is actually being done, okay, you're cutting through this. And then the elbow goes across his hasashi and throw. Okay? Goes across. Okay? And this can be done omote or ura. Omote is to the front. Omote to the front. Ura to the rear. Okay? So, like I said, as the technique comes in, you want to cut this. Proper spine alignment is important as well. If you're focusing on this and you're bent over, you're struggling to do this, it becomes very difficult to do. This is one of those Aikido techniques that comes across very effortlessly when it's done right. And obviously the inner workings is what makes it look effortless. If you know how to cut the angle, you know how to cut through the hasashi of uke, disrupt their balance, you become successful. You could also do this to where you're actually tripping them as you throw. So they can't take a step or make sweep. Okay, a little slow. So from here, you can step right into here and apply a leg sweep, throw this. So, again, that's kokyunage. Sumiyotoshi is the second one. Sumiyotoshi means corner drop. So from a katate dori application, you're going to corner drop it. You're going to stretch them out. You're going to cut on the elbow. And you're going to push down. So if you think the four corners of a square, as you do this, I'm going to be hitting that corner as I throw. This one as I throw. Now a multi-version of this would be this Tenkan version, then going. And this is not applicable in a randori set. No one's going to be holding onto your wrist when you do this. Same thing. It's going to be done from shoulder shove, double shoulder shove, mune dori, rokata dori, along the lines of that. So, so as it comes into attack, you're going to advance forward on this. One more time, please. Okay? One more. You can almost do this one-handed. Yours comes in where you throw, and you can do this ura version as well. Okay? That's Sumiyotoshi. Don't really need to go into a lot of detail about that. Pretty much it is what it is. I'm going to show you 5-10 second version of hand deflections with the two throwing techniques that we just showed. So from Ryokata, so we're just gonna walk through this. So slow. Solto gi, ukanagashi. Kokyunage. Sumi Natoshi. Kokyunage. Ukanagashi. Kokyage. Sumi Kokyunage. Sumi Natoshi. But this video is really geared towards the people that are out there that want to learn how to do Seagal Sensei's form of Iri Minage. So, with that being said, Chris, onegaishimasu. So, the first technique that we're doing is a Yoka Minuchi, which is a strike to the side of the head. So, as Chris does it, this is where you're going to incorporate your Tai Sabaki. So, if you watched the Tai Sabaki video earlier, it's one of the other videos that I have on this channel. This deflection is an ukanagashi suriage deflection. So ukanagashi, okay, don't push, strike. The striking aspect of this, you want to be able to let this break. So as this happens, this comes up, okay? So you transition from here, as it's pushed through, this hand comes up, replaces this, and then as the Iri Minage comes in, you want to think, I was taught this a long time ago, think of a salt shaker. Okay, like you're emptying a salt shaker or pouring salt onto something. So when this happens, this technique is from here, you push the koshida as this hand comes right across the neck and drops the person down. Okay? It's very important that you push his hips through. Now granted, the power of this comes through this way. This is going to happen naturally when he carries himself through from attack that's intended. Okay, if it's just this, you know, strike and then you stop. That's, it can work, but the outcome of it's probably not going to be what the uke wants, because it's gonna hurt. In reality of this, who cares what happens to somebody on the street when you do a Iri Minage? Okay, you have to use this for obviously self-defense purposes. It's really about taking a person's center and smashing them in the ground. It's what it's really all about. So with that being said, again. So as the opening comes, the ukanagashi deflection, the suriage deflection. So this has to happen quick. Your hand deflection, secondary hand deflection. Pushing the koshida, which is the back of the hakama, pushing the hips forward to throw is what makes the technique effective. If the person has a solid stance as you go to strike, you're not going to be able to get this. So you want to be able to draw them in. So if this focus is just here, you're not going to be able to do this. Okay? You have to be able to do this way, then come to the throw. So your hand transition has to be quick. So Yoka Minuchi, Iri Minage, here, throw. Okay? So again, one more time. The second technique is switch. It's katate dori. Wrist grab. Simplest form of attack is katate dori, this wrist grab. Very impractical in the real world, but it's a common everyday occurrence in every Aikido dojo throughout the whole entire world. Katate dori, kosa dori, murote dori, ryote dori techniques, they're used constantly in day-to-day practice. And it's great training, absolutely. This particular technique, instead of doing this, coming up from underneath, and trying to grab that, and then you tenkan and you throw. I don't know how well that would work, okay? Personally in the real world, you're not gonna get somebody that's compliant. Remember, you want to smash them, okay? You want to take them out as fast as humanly possible. This particular grab, you want to cut. Don't allow the uke to grab you first, okay? So this has to cut, cut. So it's almost like a magic trick. Pull, cut. As that happens, this hand comes behind, hits the koshida. This hand comes right up into the Iri and straight down. Okay? So just showing the hand cut, cut. My hand's already behind here. So quickly, cut, cut, it's right there. If you see this, follow. Nick. See my hand? It's right on his lower back. That's where you want to be. So when this happens again, cut, hand is right there. See where I'm at? See how his feet are together? Now as I step through, stay right there. As I step through, he has no other choice but to fall. Because the power that comes down over him, basically it's a tidal wave crashing. That's kind of like the idea. Okay? So again, cut, move in, there's the throw. Okay? Now it's not this. It's not this. And a lot of people do that shit. This is straight in. I'm already there before he has a chance to recover, before he has a chance to counter. My hand is already in place for the throw. Watch again. It's already there. Again. It's already there. I'm already moving through him. He's like a puff of smoke. Okay? So once the attack happens, wham, boom, there it is. It's that quick. There's no hesitation with this. One more. Okay? So again, cut, move. Right? Cut, move. Right? You go. Last one from this side. That is Katate Dori, Iri Minage. The last one is Munetsuki. Munetsuki is a punch. Mune Dori, which is a grab, or you can say Mune Dori shove. So this is a shove. This is very similar to the Katate Dori where you cut. Katate Dori, you cut down and you move in. This one incorporates the Kiriage, okay? AKA the bitch slap. The Kiriage hand flexion is this. Okay, if you didn't see that good enough, slow. Slap, Suriage. So it's two hand flexions in one. Just like the Yokomen, Ukanagashi, Suriage, Iri Minage, Katate Dori, Katate Dori, downward Suriage. You're avoiding being grabbed, remember? Don't get punched, grabbed, kicked, or taken to the ground. That is like our four main core principles of TenShin Aikido. So the Mune Dori, slow. This Kiriage movement, as that happens, this hand is already moving. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4. It's one motion, so it's one. So I'm already there. The technique already happens. Okay? So if you come around, Nick, walk around. If you come around on this, you can see how this works. Boom, I'm right there. I'm already in line with the throw. Right? I'm already in line. It's very similar to Katate Dori. Here, I'm already in line. Mune Dori, already in line. It's a faster application because of the intent behind the attack. Okay? So Mune Dori, I'm already there. Okay? Mune Dori, right side. I'm already there. Mune Dori, I'm already there. It's about distance, balance, and timing. I'm already here. Then I can move in and I can throw. Okay? If I'm late, I get shoved. Notice how in the Tai Sabaki video I was showing this, where I was slapping the shoulder. The timing aspect, right? See, there it is. Boom. We'll destroy it. Okay, one more. Let me throw up. Right. Okay. One more. The hesitation. That's Mune Dori, Iri Minage. Show that real quick. Just to walk through this. Kosori Nikyo. So Kosori Nikyo, Nikyo, boom, cut, iriminage. Okay? Again, koso nikyo, cut, iriminage. One more time. So, nikyo, iriminage. Kauski, slow. From here, this is dangerous because I don't like the way how this one works. This is application of this. So I actually use the Kiriage application of that into the flow. Okay, I incorporate that in where you have the punch, you have that deflection. Obviously that punch is quick, so it's gonna have to move fast. Okay? Then you have variations of kick, punch, ryokatadori, ryotedori, techniques from behind, Bushido-waza techniques. The list goes on and on and on. Okay, those are the three that I was going to show you tonight. Yokomanuchi iriminage, Katate-dori iriminage, Mune-dori iriminage. So, that pretty much sums it up with our video. I'm Lenny Sly, Combative Concepts.